what you have tomorrow?
Package out, you have to see the Kwakwa Rimanda.
Return tomorrow, 20th August.
Change your part of the Siva, Koti, Nakwabili. One way, Stephen.
Carlos, are you ready now? Let's have order, please.
Order.
Please.
One way, Stephen. Wango Stephen, Banga Baruato, you respect me a hat and Munya and Mukisu, we had a way in Tungo, we have Moto, Bungo, Bongola ye. Bungo. This is a very bad over the body, so I show who can have more solo. This Palmabari way, which is Tabanga Shenda, where Square Harano, Bodi, Tungo village mobile district, the city of Wajahuba and Halasa. Mobile is a Busolo, Regola, and Wakali, and Nora, the Bubble of Hamu. But it's a Rebo Wash, Lovata. Yeah, it's not true. We try to just have additional.
And we have order, please.
No, the inquiry is also complete. We pray for hearing this retreat. No, order.
The rest of right of bed.
When you need them to pull up a court, you may do immediately. Castobani Vaima. Aliwo.
Jump surety.
Ari, ave Roberto, you believe by Maliboga Benevo, about body.
You know that my surety is intended to be the complainants who are not in court.
Are you related to the complainant?
You know they are my children, one of my wife.
Nora is your head. Please, let's have order. You're saying Nora is your child? What is the problem?
And I have an issue that I had two daughters that I gave birth to. So the first one is married. The second one too. So for the second child was studying at Ginger. Unfortunately, she got pregnant before she could sit for her primary living examination. So that time she was sent back home. I kept her until when she gave birth. And unfortunately, after she gave birth, she left the baby with me and she disappeared. So she went for...
So in short, what is the...
Movie BESIGYE, she has about 2 weeks. He says that the children that were born are now of age. They are actually, he had asked the doctors to take them back to their father's home.
The number is
Usomele inamba yo.
For some of the day, Hana, Badiano, Bisiano, Badian, imagine, no Mukin, Mawen, Badian, Obama, who did not reach out.
Some tea in the cells, so they are around here just like the protein tea in the cells. But you see the wine about Hana best Bakana.
Because you are the appearance to the family issue.
We are going to start it over.
We are going to start it over. Clear from those that
Richard.
If they are here, they complain as only children.
Customer Bandong, a many of them are for you.
Could let us know.
In whom I assembly way.
Officer Richard, you are charged with the capital matter, filed by High Court.
Officer Richard, you are
the charges, but
breaking the Cairo legal, and High Court.
Yes,
Yes, Bahureho, how many have one Tom Kayobe, we never wash one and wait up. Mr. Oaks, so the Hura is a look so again. Eh? Okay, one more but what's when I had in a shenda, Rumoki Sum, we had a way, Una was BESIGYE, Una was the parish Biangu, district Yoyembale, Musakwe woman were Sahana, Asinikia, Hakimingalia. It's called Mabari, where it's now Sabanga minutes with Suku, Olivuka village, district Yembale, one time and Ukonesa, Mohala and Halang, Wanabuzan, Shakira, Ikria Halimina, Tarukio in the cable. Musan Quesba, Raho, how many moments Tom Kayo High Court to move and so much for an amount of time. Okay, More government have a quota review when there is some city and move on. I don't have a
September.
Sina munga tsiri kwa question.
democratic change. I thank you and I congratulate you upon that valor that you have demonstrated. Last night, I had Mr. Museveni concerned that some NRM members were assaulted during the youth elections. And he was charging, we shall not allow this, we shall crash. Shame on him. He has never known how many of our people have been terrorized, tortured, and beaten. He has never known. And killed, who are in their graves. When the Kiboko squad was descending from Central Police Station, did he beat beasts or taxpayers that account for his luxury of the money they steal with impunity? And he's worried that some NRM people are beaten by other citizens. When we are tortured by people, we pay our money. So thank you. Thank you for remaining firm. Liberating a country is not easy. Thank you for being there and for saying no to those rogues that control our country today. I would like to inform you that, that struggle which I joined to fight gunmen has taken various phases to get where we are. And if we want to get to where we are going, we must understand where we are coming from. The accumulated is not experience that is useless. It's experience we must build on to take us forward. I started the struggle myself through armed fighting, through holding guns and fighting. And I can tell you, therefore, the war we fought, which has been totally desecrated and turned into the most disastrous thing that our country could have had, was a just war that we went to. We went to a just war to fight for our freedom. Fighting for freedom is the most noble and just cause. Every person that is created by God is given right to freely execute any other person. So when you take away my freedom, I must fight for it. Fought with guns. And as a result of that war, 500,000 people perished during that struggle. But yes, freedom has a cost. We did not lament because we thought it was a just cause leading us to freedom. But as you know, as soon as we got into government in 1986, these rogues now calling themselves a government turned around and did 100 times worse than the people that we had fought. And some of us protested, said we could not have risked our lives in order to do worse than those we were fighting. Because me, I was never a politician. I was a medical doctor. The reason I went and spent years hungry, sleeping with mosquitoes and all kinds of animals was not for a person, it was for my freedom. It was for the freedom of Uganda. So when our colleagues betrayed that struggle, some of us rejected and started right away challenging them. And some of you have not been around to see those different phases that we went through. 201 election. Even in 201, I was not really meant to be a candidate. I became a candidate by circumstances, just the last hour. Because I was retired from the military in October, and that October I became a candidate for an election in February. But was a major turning point in what was going on. It is still the most violent election we have had in Uganda up to date. Many people died, many were wounded and so on, arrested, terrorized. That time there were no parties. Parties were not allowed to sponsor candidates. Everybody was an individual. I stood in the election of 201 as an individual. There was nothing else. People who rose up to support me were just supporting elect Kandokiza BESIGYE. That was all. There was no organization. But our people fought, and through that fight, some changes happened. Because even in spite of having only 3 months, I believe we won that election, 201. And we went to court. The court confirmed that there was widespread cheating and there was no free and fair election. Court in its unanimous judgment, there were 5 judges then in 201. All the 5 said this was not a free and fair election. And they listed all the terrible things that happened. Unfortunately, when it came to the most important thing of deciding whether that election should be cancelled,
together with my learned friends,
again, because of some weaknesses, the court was divided in the middle, 3-2. 3 judges voted to uphold that sham election. Because that is subjective, it's not based on any yardstick. It is each judge to decide subjectively, after making all the findings and so on, each judge subjectively. And we know what influences those subjective changes. So 3-2, they upheld the election. The violence continued until I ran out of the country. I spent 4 years in South Africa. FDC was formed when I was in South Africa. And the leaders of FDC thought that I could still come back and help in the struggle of that period. And I accepted. And came back in 205 October for the election in February. I was nominated here. The Electoral Commission came here to register me on my way from Entebbe. On the 26th of October, that's when they registered me as a voter here for an election. I think that time it was on the 11th of February. And then 2 2 weeks later, on the 14th of November, he was arrested and charged with rape, with treason, with terrorism, with illegal possession of guns. He who had just arrived. And sent to Ruzira. I was given bail from Ruzira. The court was attacked and said you cannot get out. Stayed in Ruzira with bail but not able to get out. I was eventually nominated from Ruzira as a candidate. I got bail in January for the election in February. And even after coming out of jail, I was in court being tried for rape up to the election time. But our people fought. FDC had just been formed. It had the weak structures in the country. But our people fought extremely hard. And I am sure we won that election. Many people have said so, including those who were on the other side. All these people who desert, that's what their first message is. By the way, you won. Why didn't you say when you were still there? We went to court. Same as 201, everybody confirmed. That time there were 7 judges. All 7 judges confirmed this election is not free and fair. This is a record that will never be wiped away. A record on the election of Uganda. It's there. Anybody can go and read it. 7 judges unanimously. This election is not free and fair. You read the Constitution. The Constitution allows only one election in Uganda. A free and fair election. But even after writing it in their judgment that this is not free and fair, they failed to cancel it. Even in 206, it was a divided court. 4-3. 4 judges saying they should keep it, 3 judges saying it should be cancelled. And the election stood. From 206, but after the 201 election, part of that struggle is what caused the return of multi-party elections. Because when Museveni got scared of the challenge from within NRM, those who were here, you may remember his missives. He said BESIGYE did not consult our organs. So then it became organs to decide the candidates. And all this, his mistakes are what were taken by Mulodi here and his, the Honorable Paul Kawanga Semogerere, who led the petition. They compiled all the evidence and took it to court. And the court said, no, this is not a no-party system, it's a one-party system, which is not allowed. And that's how we got parties to function. So every election, though it does not lead us to where we are, it adds on something. So in 206, when all that happened, those of us who were here decided that now, in the past 2 elections, we have only had 3 months to prepare. Now we have 5 years to prepare. So let us have no excuse whatsoever. Let's go and prepare for an election. Because really what we wanted was that we give a chance to orderly electoral transfer of power. Orderly as provided in the law. That's what we wanted to give the regime a chance to do. To step down in an orderly way. But that they abused. So in 2011, we had enough time. I went to every sub-county of Uganda. between 2006 and 2011. And in many sub-counties, I went to many parishes of those sub-counties. We rebuilt the structures of FDC from the grass up to the top. That's why we had an early delegates conference in 2009. My first term as leader of FDC lasted only 4 years. The reason was that we didn't want to go with shaky structures to 2011. So we built from the grassroots up to the top. And in 2009, we had a delegates conference to re-elect national leaders. That's the first time I contested with General Muntu. So we went to 2011 prepared. We even fundraised and paid nomination fees for every candidate of FDC, from the grassroots up to the top. We paid lawyers' fees for those who needed affidavits and whatever. We paid everything and even printed posters for some of our candidates. We ran a very strong campaign in 2011. Of all the 4 elections that I have participated in, what the Electoral Commission has been giving me, which is fake, that is when they gave me the least votes in 2011. Of all the 4, that's when I got the least. What they read out was the least that I have ever got. Much less than when I had only 3 months and no structures. So in 2011, we realized we need now to shift the gear. From just looking for orderly electoral transfer of power to now really fighting for our right and our power. Are we together? So a gear changed in 2011. And that's when we started walk to work. Remember? 4G CFOC. At that stage, I also realized that leading FDC alone and being busy with FDC work would not help that struggle that we had engaged. Because that struggle needs a lot of time. It needs everyone who is oppressed, not just those of FDC. Everybody who is oppressed must be part of that struggle. And so in 2012, I asked my colleagues here to allow me to step down as a leader of FDC. 3 years to the end of my term. We had a lot of debate. There were emotions like I was seeing here this morning. Saying, how can you leave the leadership of FDC? But I explained that we are not in FDC for the sake of FDC. We are in FDC to liberate ourselves, Uganda. And FDC and those non-FDC, we must see how to liberate this country. And as I told you, that gear we engaged in 2011 of struggle, fighting, could not be done just as a party activity. It had to be done by all, whether you have a party, whether you don't have a party. If you are oppressed, we hold each other's hand and we advance. So I stepped down. After a lot of struggle also here. and a new party leader was elected. Some indeed thought I was leaving the struggle. They were saying he has abandoned. Kala tulese wakati mu nyanja. Never. I can never. I just changed the position. And that's why, especially you fighters, you must be flexible. If you are fighting from this position and the enemy identifies where you are, they are going to concentrate the fire where you are. You must therefore never stay in one position for a long time. You change cover. You must change cover. They must not predict what you are doing or where you are. So, in 2012, I stepped out of Najanankumbi. That's why I was extremely happy. Many people, especially out there, the loudspeakers of the rogue regime, we are predicting doom. And now BESIGYE has gone, FDC is finished. That's what he's finished. Is it weaker or it's stronger? Alhamdulillah. Stronger. But the struggle outside is also stronger. So yes, we went out. I was fighting shoulder to shoulder with Lord Mayor. He was not a member of FDC. We've been fighting shoulder to shoulder with many people who are not necessarily members of FDC. And that's what makes the struggle much stronger. I had actually said that even in 2016, I would not go to the election of 2016. When these processes were going on, I was out of the country, but I had not left the struggle. And I would not want to reveal on this occasion what attracted me to come back in 2016. It was not because my assessment of what elections do had changed, no. But I made an assessment together with our colleagues that there was a greater danger that we needed to deal with, which at an opportune time we shall have the freedom to talk about. Now, in 2016, because of those reasons, I came back to the election. But now I came back with both gears. Are we together? With the gear of the struggle and the gear of the election. The campaigns for elections. And that's why some of you who listened to my message during the campaigns or the message of our party, we were telling Ugandans that actually the country they were talking about getting a leader for was not in their hands. That the country is not in there. This country is not in the hands of Ugandans. It's in the hands of the gunmen that captured it and who use it to arrogantly act with impunity, steal with impunity. I don't think this country will ever have looters or plunderers like these plunderers led by Mr. Museveni. It has never happened. These billions they are now squandering here, they just stole from borrowed money for COVID. They are using COVID money to rent support. So in 2016, as I said, we did not go into the election as usual. We went into the election with two gears. We prepared our people throughout the campaign. We prepared our people to fight. And there is absolutely no doubt about the support of the people of Uganda that we got in 2016. Even foreigners, even locals, even NRM, they know that we defeated Museveni flat in the elections. They came here, raided headquarters, kept it solely for themselves for 3 weeks. They were the ones in charge of our headquarters for 3 weeks. They had hoped to capture the declaration forms that we had got in 2011. And they captured a few. But I can assure you, without the slightest form of doubt, that the greatest majority of the declaration forms of 2016 are in our possession. And that's why, and we can use what we have in our possession to demonstrate to anybody that it is us who won that election. And that's why we were demanding an audit in 2016. Even some foreigners offered to audit the election so that we give them our evidence and whoever else challenges us brings theirs. Our friends, the Swedes, stepped in to help. We even signed the memorandum agreeing to audit. It is in our possession, the memorandum for audit of the 2016 elections. Then Mr. Museveni knew that we were now pressing him against the wall. He chickened out. Said, I'm no longer interested. Even after he himself had also signed, accepting an audit. So there is no doubt that Mr. Museveni is totally illegitimate as a leader of this country. As you know, they took me to jail, charged me with treason for declaring myself a winner. And I went to court and said, yes, it's true, I declared myself, here I am. Try me. Let me show you that it is I indeed who won, that's why I declared myself. It's now 5 years. We are going into another election. They have never tried me. I am still a prisoner on treason. Never tried. Because they don't want the truth to come out. And since 2016, then the desperate Mr. Museveni has been rampaging all over the place. He then created the new electoral commission, this one. He created it while not supposed to be in office himself. This Liabakama commission itself is illegitimate because it was set up by an illegitimate man who has continued to tamper with it. Even in the middle of this particular election, Mr. Museveni has sacked some of the electoral commission senior staff. Museveni attacked Kasese. That was election violence, because we had humiliated him in Kasese. Even with their cheating and whatever, the gallant fighters of Rwenzururu, of the Banyarwenzururu in Kasese, fought and took every elected position there. He knew this was a bad example and went and attacked Kasese. The king of the Banyarwenzururu is still in prison here in Kampala. From 2016. Hundreds of the people of Kasese are in jail up to now. Hundreds are in mass graves in Kasese. That's 2016. He did not stop there. We were lucky the country was given a bonus when the Americans arrested a man that brought bribes to them. A man called Chi Ping Ho. The money he brought was also for elections. The evidence is there in part of what he was tried for in the court. The evidence is there that he was contributing to an election. Bribe from the Chinese man. Kupesa, who took the bribe, is still our Minister of Foreign Affairs, painting shame wherever he goes in the world. Then, Mr. Museveni would not be on the ballot today if it was not for the attack on Parliament. Because the Constitution wouldn't allow him to be there. He took forces, that's why I say it's the gun rule. Took the military into Parliament under the clear view of all your cameras. And that's how we have now a new constitution. When the whole country was singing Toji Kwatako, I am glad that the Judah Iscariot, Majezi, seems to have been hounded out of his village. All those who similarly betrayed the country. Since then, that's how Mr. Museveni now took money from government to go and campaign to be a solo candidate. Parliament gave him, I think it was 50 billion to go and campaign for solo candidate. 100,000 shillings. Was it 300? Trust the Ugandans, at least they shared into that, because that is how we have come to where we are. Now for us in 2016, we decided to now strengthen the struggle platform by forming the People's Government. To end the illegitimate hoard of power by that is, and we have all these 5 years. There have also been some interferences with our work, some from the regime, some from outside the regime. But we have withstood them and remained focused on where we are going. So ladies and gentlemen, we are at another crossroads. When the junta, the gunmen are organizing another election to legitimize themselves. That's what they are doing. I told you that in 2016,
Just buchali bwale yabwe tubatuberamu
mama Gandhi
democratic change. I thank you and I congratulate you upon that valor that you have demonstrated. Last night, I heard Mr. Museveni how their families live. You don't need to go far. Just go to any of these barracks and you see how their families live. You know? They have nowhere even to wash their bodies from. They wash from the road at night. To clean themselves. So actually the soldiers are also waiting for us to take the initiative so that our country can be free. Yes, I heard last night, I don't know where things are in Mali, that the leader there was under detention. If they stay long enough, there is no other way it will happen to them, whether I am available or not. So ladies and gentlemen, the fight is on. The fight is on. So you have two channels that you must listen to. Two channels. Channel A and Channel B. So some will be operating from Channel A, others will be operating from Channel B. But Channel B, mark you, supports Channel A fully. Are we together? Yes. We support Channel A, our Channel A fully. Because in any case, all fighters can vote. Not so? But not all voters can fight. Are we together? So our priority is to turn every Uganda into a fighter for their own freedom and right. Every Ugandan should be a fighter for their right and freedom. And once they are fighters, we can win, whether election, whether no election. There is no reason why we should wait for an election. For a Mr. Museveni who didn't come through an election anyway. Is it an election which brought him? Why should he expect that we will wait for his rigged election to get rid of him? So, kindly, Sibalaba, warm up. We are building a strong front. In the plan B, we move with everybody who wants change, whether you have a party, whether you don't have a party. Get on the front line and we push. That is our platform. So we have a platform that will unite all people who are for change to fight. I told you when we were here to receive Omolod here that we must keep our eyes on the ball. Let's not allow to be diverted. Their tactic now is to distract us. People abuse you, you run after them. These ones abuse you, you run after them. Let them abuse, keep the eye where the ball is, and let's get rid of that ball. All these people who are making noise on the sides, once the ball is gone, everybody will get down. Are we together? Yes, so fighting is tactics. Let's maintain our eyes on the ball. So today, I came here, ladies and gentlemen, to be part of you as we flag the process of the Channel A to continue. I can tell you without a shade of doubt that I have every confidence in our leaders that we have here today. Mulongo wa Swabirigwa is not new to the challenges of Channel A. He has been in the trenches there. He has been in the country. He has also been abroad. That's why he has the title ambassador. So he has friends that we hope he can now invite. If they are friends, this is the time they have to come. We need a lot of support at this critical moment. So Mulongo here is welcome to this process. I think it's a good decision that you took to step forward for your country. Some people think that becoming a leader of any form of struggle is a job, that it is, you know, desirable, you aspire to it, you fight to become a leader in the struggle. But if you test it, you will know that it's not entirely a cup of tea. But I trust Mulongo wa Swabirigwa is up to the mark, and I congratulate you upon taking the decision to express interest. I believe I don't need to talk much about our president, the one and only Poa. Poa has been in national politics for decades. There is no corner of this country that he doesn't know. He's also had experience in public service even before coming into elections. As you know, he's an engineer. He first made roads and things like that. Came into public service and electoral service for people in his area. And he's a quiet but decisive person. Some people mistake his demeanor as being maybe a pushover, where those who tried know how. If there are people out there underestimating him, think again, because he's full of surprises. Yes, I mean, to come from wherever he came in those humble situations and find a general, former commander of the forces, leading a strong party, and in a short time things change. It's no mean achievement. So I have absolutely no doubt that Poa fits the bill. The few years he has been in charge of the party, he has never, left the front line. Wherever there has been a tough area, he has been there. So he doesn't command from behind, he commands from the front. And I thank him for taking this challenge and setting the ball rolling. Now there are still a lot of unknowns ahead of us. In this process, there are many unknowns. Nothing is clear, nothing is fixed. There's a lot of fluidity. So we all must remain alert to make adjustments wherever they are necessary to fit whatever situation that we deal with. And as I have said, I am available whenever you need my hand, whenever you need my advice, whenever you need my input. I will never hesitate. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by thanking God, because the fight is the Lord's. The fight is always the Lord's. Just like our lives are for the Lord. We don't have the ultimate authority. And I can say to you without any fear of contradiction that the Lord we talk about, we believe in, is always on the side of justice. The Lord is for the just. So let's set off. Let's continue trusting and believing that we are also supported by higher powers. COVID is demolishing the whole world. We are still safe by the grace of God. So by His grace, we shall reach where we are going. I thank you, and I wish you all the best. Let's remain firm. Let's never be diverted. We shall overcome. We shall? We shall? One Uganda? One people? God bless you.